Hey guys, this is Wes with Dirt Concepts. Today we're going to do a quick update on my Ignite Design RC Nitro Stadium truck that's Team Associate T6.2 based. I know it's been a while since we've done a gas truck video, so with that being said, we're in our off season right now in the winter. It's actually snowing outside, and I've taken the chance this winter to kind of go through the truck, fix some issues, as well as update some things and get the truck up to the current Team Associated spec, as well as put some of the new Ignite Design RC version 2 updated parts on, as well as we're trying some new things as well. So we'll go ahead and walk through some of those changes. All right, here we have my Ignite Design gas truck. Go ahead and pull the body off. So from a glance, it looks very similar, but I can tell you that there's been a lot of changes. So the first thing we're going to cover here are the latest Team Associated spec updates. So the first thing that was updated is the top plate. It's a B6.3 top plate. What is the difference between this and the T6.2? Well, the B6.3 actually allows the bell crank arms, if I can get right here, the bell crank arms to key in. There's actually like a top adapter that makes them key into the top plate, and it keeps your steering arms from flexing essentially under load, and it provides a much more consistent steering feel. In addition to that, I also installed the B6.3 Servo link. You can see it's kind of a lighter gray color, so that's the updated plastic from Associated. So it's a lot more durable. It doesn't stretch. If you notice that the old black plastic would get a lot of slop in that Servo link, so this eliminates all the slop from the steering. The next thing that I updated is I updated to a B6.3 style servo mount in carbon fiber top plate, which is a factory team option. So this just provides more direct steering feel, since the servo is now direct mounted to the chassis, and it just looks cool, to be honest with you. The next thing that was updated is you'll see the B74.2 style heavy duty 3.5 millimeter ball cups. This is a huge upgrade, especially for gas truck. You know, these trucks are a little heavier, especially racing them outdoor and pretty gnarly jumps and I would say gnarly track conditions in general. The ball cups before used to stretch out and get sloppy, and then you'd get a pop ball cup. I used to see them all the time, usually on the inside rear camber link and then the outside front steering link. Those ones would always get loose. Well, with the 3.5 millimeter heavy duty ball cups, it is no longer an issue. These things are very durable. I've actually been running them on my electric two-wheel drive stadium truck and absolutely love them, have had zero issues. In addition to that, if I turn around here and take a look, you can see the new B6.4 updated rod ends for the shocks. So these are the lighter gray plastic, as you can see. They're made out of that same durable plastic material that's same as the steering link and the new ball cups. So it eliminates a lot of the slop, you know, in the shocks. Definitely a worthwhile upgrade, especially if you're running these things outdoor with more abrasive surfaces. That wraps it up for the updates to get this truck to the latest Team Associated specs. So now we're going to walk into the new Ignite Design RC parts that were installed. The first thing that I did was install the new revised brake pads and brake bushings. So what it allows you to do is get the perfect setting for the spacing of your brake pads. And from what I've noticed, the brakes, they're much more consistent and linear, so they don't just lock up as quick, as well as you give less distortion under heavy braking load of the brake bulkheads. So highly recommend that upgrade to anybody that has one of these Ignite gas trucks. From what I understand, that part, it fits every model. So whenever those become available, order yourself a set of the upgrade kit for the brake pads and brake bushings. The next thing here is the new heavy duty version 2 slipper pads. You can see they're not the white Delrin material. This is more of a it's kind of like a paper type of material. It's a lot more durable than what you'd see like with the latest Associated pads. So these are more suited, you know, for gas truck where you have fuel and oil and everything that may get on them. So I haven't had a chance to try these yet, but you know, just on the bench, I can tell that these pads are going to have a much more linear type of slipping action, and they should be more responsive to changes in the slipper setting, which is critical in low grip, where typically these trucks are going to be ran. The next thing here, I can't really show you, but I have the new, it's the 3-shoe flywheel, but I'm actually running carbon composite shoes. I haven't tested this yet on the track, but I have on the bench, and I like the way they engage. So kind of the approach I want to take to the season this year is to make the truck is very easy to drive in a variety of conditions. That's the whole idea, right? So consistency wins the race, and I believe that these carbon composite shoes on the 3-shoe clutch will make the bottom end of this truck very, very soft and easy to drive, but at the same time, this motor has enough grunt to get over the big jumps. So we're just trying to increase the overall traction of the truck. The next thing that I did is installed it's kind of hard to see here, but the Ignite Designer C brass transmission spacer. It comes with a carbon fiber spacer in the kit. So this one adds 15 grams of brass right under the rear end. So at this point, the truck's outfitted with every brass part imaginable: brass D block, C block, the 60-gram brass block that hangs off the back, the brass transmission spacer, as well as the mod brass, if I can get it on video, diff height inserts. So all in all together, it's about 120 or so grams of brass on the back of this thing, which is comparable to having a battery, you know, hanging off the back when we used to run that way back in the day. So some of the other new parts that I have on here are actually from ProTek RC. First thing that you can see here is I have a ProTek RC throttle and brake servo. This is a 160T. I already had this sitting around, that's why I put it in here, or else I would have put actually the newest version, which is the black label, the 160 TBL. For my steering servo, that's exactly what I have in here, is a 160 TBL steering servo. This servo is an absolute beast. You know, especially if you're going to run a gas truck outdoors on a big A-scale track, you need to get yourself a very stout servo. This servo is the best that's out there right now, in my opinion. In addition to that, I picked up a ProTek clamping servo horn for the Associated. It's a 15.5 millimeter horn. With it being clamping, as you can see here, it ensures that the servo is never going to come loose, you know, with vibrations. And if you hit a rut in the track, for example, or landing on a hard lander on a big jump, you'll never have to worry about your horn coming loose. Next thing I picked up from ProTek RC is a lightweight receiver pack. It's flat, so you can see it's very similar to the old one that everybody's using. You know, it was the 2300 milliamp hour LiPo receiver pack. This one's actually a 1600. So the benefit is it saves about 30 grams off the front of the truck, or the midsection, which really is the front of the rear axle. So that's going to shift that weight bias more to the rear of the truck. So, you know, overall though, it saves 30 grams off the whole, you know, curb weight of the truck. So anytime you get an overall weight savings, we found that there's a pretty substantial, you know, performance increase. So with that being said, you know, we're actually in the process of testing an entirely new battery system for these Ignite trucks. They will be tested at the Emerge race in Florida. So the Ignite team's down there, they'll be running them. It'll actually be a rear battery box, and we will eliminate the flat pack that goes underneath the fuel tank altogether. And you'll just run a small pump style pack over the rear When you do that, we'll get rid of all the brass off the truck. It's going to save between 100 and 130 grams off the total weight of the truck and still maintain, you know, the heavy rear weight bias for low grip tracks. It is going to be a substantial improvement in rear grip, drivability of these trucks. I'm super excited to try that out at my local track, and I'll be sure to get a video of that when we do that. The next thing I have on deck to try out is the 13mm shock. So right now I have the 12s. I do plan on trying the 13mm. After talking with Associated, they recommended to run 2-hole 1.6mm hole pistons in the front, and they need to be the thin 2.0mm thick pistons. And typically you're going to run 30 weight oil in the front and rear. If you want to run 1.7mm holes, 2-hole pistons in the front, you need to step up to like a 32.5 or potentially a 35 weight in the front. In the rear, as I said, 30 weight in the rear. In this case though, we're still going to run the 2mm thick pistons, but you'll run the 2 by 1.8mm holes. So pretty big hole, but again, those 13mm shocks have a lot of pack to them. It's going to help that truck land real plush on those big jumps. I love the 13mm shocks. I run them on actually my mod buggy and stock buggy for indoor. I can imagine they're probably amazing on this truck though, outdoor on a big track. So one of the things I do want to try, and I already run the VRP XV3 pistons on this truck, but they're the 12mm. They actually just came out with the 13mm XV3 pistons. And what those are is they're kind of like it's like a dual stage piston, so they have adjustable rebound. So the idea is that you can run a much more pack or a thicker weight oil in your truck, and it's still going to maintain the fast rebound characteristics of a thinner oil, but it's going to give you the pack of running a thicker oil. So there's really no downside to it. So really looking forward to trying those out, which I definitely will when I get the 13mm shocks on here. Anyway, oh, one more thing to cover I forgot about. You've probably seen some of my truck before, but I actually run the 3-piece quick change engine mount. This was actually built by a gas truck enthusiast. He made a run of these things. I love my engine mount. You know, the benefit of this is it prevents chassis flex where the pinion and spur gear meet. So that way you don't have to worry about, you know, routering out the hole for your carbon fiber spur gear bushing. Or potentially, you know, if you have flex going the opposite way, it could actually strip a spur gear, and I've seen it happen before. That's actually why I upgraded to the 3-piece engine mount. So that being said, Ignite Design's coming out with the same design, and that will be released very soon, where people can actually run the same exact 3-piece engine mount on their trucks, and that is a highly recommended upgrade. If you have one of these trucks, go ahead and order yourself that 3-piece engine mount when it comes out. Anyway, that wraps up the update to the Ignite Design gas truck. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.